Hello. Welcome back to another episode of Scrubs and Stitches. Yeah, I wanted to chat about the things that I've had on the brain for springy knits. I'm wearing my Trinnigan today, which is actually not my Trinnigan. I knit it for my sister. It's very long. It's the pattern by Andrea Mowry. Absolutely love it. Whenever I come home to visit, usually steal it because I have yet to knit myself one. It was definitely a beast of a knit, which is why I think it's taken me a little while to cast one on for myself, just because it took me a while. But I definitely want to get around to making myself one because it's such like the perfect just house cardigan. It's like a wearable blanket basically. Anyways, as you can see, trying out a bit of a different layout. I made a mood board for kind of the things that I've been finding inspiring, spring knits, patterns, colors, all that. So I wanted to have that board up while I was chatting, so hopefully it works out. But yeah, let's get into it. So move this up there. So yeah, let's get into it. I made a bit of a mood board, if you can call it that. It's really just patterns. I like having them all somewhere where I can see them visually and kind of put color ideas next to them and whatnot. I feel like that helps me narrow down what I want to knit. Yeah, I'm such a visual person that I just like being able to see it all visually. So the first section, for lack of better words, that I've been thinking about for spring knits is how there's like, for me at least, there's a shift from wearing puffer jackets as like your main outerwear to wearing big thick woolly sweaters as your outerwear. The one that I've been slightly obsessive over is the Frey sweater by Thea M. It's bulky weight. I will say the thing that like I'm hesitant about is a bulky weight drop shoulder sweater. Like I've knit them before and on me they tend to like bunch at the like armpit and around the shoulders, and so I'd want to do it in something that's like really drapey. So maybe not, I don't know if I would choose just a bulky weight wool yarn. I'd maybe do like a DK held with like lace mohair or something to make it really drapey. But anyways, I love this pattern so much. It looks so cute. But yeah, the polka dots, the little lace detail, it's giving me spring energy. And it would be perfect for some outerwear during the spring, kind of in that transitional period. I in particular really loved these two colorways, these projects. The yellow with the brown, and then this like really cool gray with the red and pink. They're really speaking to me. Yeah, those two in particular stood out. Really love it. And then the other sweater, jumper, if you will, that I've had is sweater number 32 by My Favorite Things. Yeah, I really love this. The thing that stood out to me in particular about this one is the raglans. So it's these like really thick stockinette raglans that you can see there. I feel like it just makes the stripes flow really nicely. And it has a rolled bit of a rolled hem on the hem and the sleeves and the neckline, which I've not done a sweater with any rolled edges, so some new techniques that I'd like to try. But yeah, the thing that really stood out to me is the raglans, and I've knit some patterns from My Favorite Things before and they've been good, so happy to do another one. And well it's a DK weight sweater, so I probably wouldn't do it in black and white striped, especially in the spring summer season. I have a whole Pinterest board of like different color palettes and things that I find inspiring, maybe like flowers and stuff that I like the colors on them. So I pulled from there. These ones stood out to me for some stripes. And then part of the reason I love doing a mood board is I can kind of draw out different color combination ideas. And I was also thinking, I think in the pattern it's a 4-row repeat for the stripes, like 4 of white, 4 of black, etc. But I think you could mix it up a little bit and do like some thinner stripes mixed in, 3 color repeats or 2 or 4 even, and really just play around with it. These were the 2 that I was thinking about. I have so much DK weight yarn. I think it's one of the ones I use the most, so I would hopefully be able to pull some from stash. And yeah, with it being DK weight, I think it'd be even more of a transitional piece, just because it would be a bit lighter. And then the next section is cardigans. You can see I have quite a bit on here because it's definitely, I don't feel like there's so many trains going by. I don't feel like there's anything more springy than a cardigan because you can wear it buttoned up, but then as it gets warmer and more transitional, you can have it unbuttoned and layers, and yeah, it's just very springy to me. One of the ones I've been eyeing recently is the Somme cardigan by Cookie the Knitter. It's knit with 2 lace held double to create a DK weight. I've not done any lace knitting, I don't think. I've done a little bit, like mixed in with cables, but I really want to do something with lace just to kind of push my abilities and yeah, learn something new. And this one, I've not read the pattern, but just from looking at it visually, it seems like a fairly simple lace repeat. So I don't know, I find it seems kind of approachable as a first like all over lace pattern. Yeah, I think it's just really delicate and gorgeous. Would be very lovely for spring. And then yeah, and then onto like over a dress in the summer even. Very pretty. And then pretty self-explanatory, the Felix cardigan by Amy Christoffers. I've knit one of these, maybe 2. I don't know, my mom's knit like 3 or 4 of them, so it's a very popular pattern in our house. Just very classic. It's bulky or worsted weight, so it knits up so fast. And so yeah, would love to have another one of those. Just, I wear mine like multiple times a week. It's just a very good like basic cardigan. You'll notice a theme of Ozetta patterns. I have yet to knit one, but it's very high on my list at the moment. I'm currently torn between these 3, but we'll go through them one by one. The Lakes cardigan by Ozetta, knit with an air and held with a lace, so it'd be very chunky. The main thing that stood out to me about this pattern is the V-neck. There's so many patterns that are like a crew neck cardigan, but I really want to knit a V-neck one. This is very like classic grandpa cardigan. Yeah, I just need a grandpa cardigan in my life. Yeah, I don't know what else there is to say. Yeah, she's beautiful. She's stunning. It has a saddle shoulder as well. I like how it just transitions really smoothly between the ribbing around the top of the collar to this, like, the ribbing to go into the button band, it switches directions, but with the saddle shoulders, it just, I don't know, I feel like it just flows really smoothly. Love a basic sweater or cardigan with very well constructed details. And then The Maisie cardigan by Emily Chen. This wasn't on my radar until like 2 days ago. I was watching one of Knitting Traditions recent podcasts, and she's knitting one of these, and immediately I was like, what is that? Yeah, so the Maisie cardigan, knit in a light fingering held with a lace to create a sport. So beautiful. So this is a lighter one. I am working on a Dagmar jacket at the moment, but that's like chunky cables. So I think having something with some nice cabling, but that's a little bit lighter, is a bit of a gap in my wardrobe. Let me see. Yeah, this detail with the cable that runs up the side, almost like a seam, next to this like basket weave, for lack of better words. Yeah, I feel like it's simultaneously like a classic cabled cardigan, but with some really unique details. And yeah, I love this butter yellow color. Very in at the moment, but I am here for it. The other two Ozetta patterns, I just put them all in here because I don't know how one decides. I just never have enough time to knit all the things I want to knit. But a girl can dream. So the Air cardigan by Ozetta. This one also very classic with unique construction, which seems to be a theme here. Let's talk about what it's knit in first. So Aran held with lace, so another chunkier sweater, but again, I feel like it kind of fills that outerwear space that's filled by, you know, jackets and puffer jackets in the winter. But yeah, so this one from the front looks like a pretty, you know, standard cardigan, but I don't know if it's knit in one piece or if the sleeve stitches are picked up, so it's a bit of an illusion and it looks like it's knit continuously, but it looks like there's stockinette running from one and the end of one sleeve all the way across the back to the other. But yeah, you can really see it here, how the stitches flow from the sleeve across the back to the other sleeve, which I think is really cool. I've had my eye on this Knitting for Olive soft silk mohair in the Quince colorway on here, next to these two Ozetta cardigans, because that's what I would love to knit it in. Once again, I have so much yarn and so many things that I'm knitting at the moment, and do I really need to be spending money on a very chunky, oversized cardigan's worth of Knitting for Olive? Probably not, but again, a girl can dream. Another one I saw on a knitting podcast I was listening to is the Miles shirt jacket by Ozetta. Yeah, so another one that was like, it wasn't really on my radar from the front picture. I'm like, yeah, okay. But the thing that I didn't realize, which I really love, is that it has shaping around the hem to kind of mimic that like shirt jacket look. So I don't know, I'm kind of on the fence about this one. I love that it's really big, oversized. It's knit in Aran. So like, I love a big, oversized, chunky cardigan. Love the pockets and how it's really long. Love the bottom hem. The one thing that I'm a bit unsure about is this collar. I don't know, in this picture particularly, I just don't love the way that it sits. So I don't know about, maybe like if you fold it out like a shirt jacket like collar is, I don't know what that would look like, but I don't know how I feel about this one. Like, I love the entire thing, it's just the collar that I'm a little unsure about. But so as far as all the cardigans that I'm looking to knit possibly for springtime, is kind of at the lower end of the list, I think, but still love it. and still would love to knit eventually. Okay, on to tops and vests. First one is the Sencha vest. So this is knit in DK, works from the top down and flat knitting with no seams, which we love. Yeah, again, really want to knit something with a little bit of lace. This isn't all over lace, but it does have this detail. I feel like it's a really good spring piece because you could wear it layered over things as a vest, but then I would wear this with like a tank top underneath as a summer top, especially if it was knit in like a merino cotton or something like a more summery lighter yarn. Yeah, very nice. I have done so much knitting, but I have yet to knit a vest, so I really need to get on that, and this one is at the top of my list. As far as other summer tops, Cumulus Tee, need I say more? It's such a classic summery top. I've done some all over colorwork summer tops, like the Jupiter Crop by Caitlin Hunter, which I really love, but I have yet to knit. Actually, I take that back. I've knit the June tank, but other than that, I don't have any like plain t-shirt like summery knitted tops, so definitely want to do that. The Cumulus Tee is at the top of my list, just very classic, kind of goes with everything. I feel like I would get a lot of wear out of that. And a little bit ago, like 2-3 years now, I dyed some cotton yarn with turmeric, so it's this nice like golden yellow, and it's just been sitting in my stash, so I think I would do a Cumulus Tee with that like turmeric yellow cotton. So hopefully, actually maybe I should cast that on soon so I have it for summer. We shall see. The Freya top by Matilda Knits. She wears it off the shoulder, but I've seen other people wearing it like off both shoulders. But I just really love the thick ribbing. I like her original one in it looks like just an undyed cotton, but I also liked this person's project in the very like summery pink. So yeah, I think the common theme for me this spring and summer is just more like very versatile, solid color summery tops. Again, I love my all over colorwork summer tops, but I think I just need some, yeah, solids, you know what I mean? Yeah, so the final one that I've had saved is the Petali Slipover by Mary Eve Wedge. My mom showed me this one. It has two versions of the pattern, one that's more of a vest and then one that's more of a summer top. And in the pattern she includes so much information on like sizing and making alterations, and yeah, so I appreciate patterns that really go into depth with sizing, but I also like patterns that have multiple options. So, love that about this. I lean more towards the summer top than the vest. I don't know how much I would wear a vest that was that cropped. Maybe if I did it a little bit longer, but I really like the summer top. I love the kind of like, I think it's called Pico edging. Yeah, this kind of edge. Yeah, really love it. Again, it's a solid color with a fun detail. Okay, and then onto socks. They seem like a winter knit, but I feel like it's a very transitional piece, going from wearing slippers to socks, if that makes sense. I have knit 3 or 4 pairs now of Andrea Mowry's everyday sock pattern, and I really love it, but I am getting a little bit tired of just ribbed socks, so I want to knit some colorwork ones. The Pop Radio socks by Summer Lee. These are all Summer Lee, by the way. I think she's like the queen of fun socks, so So yeah, the Pop Radio socks, it's a popcorn stitch, which kind of gives the illusion of polka dots. The popcorn stitch is not on the bottom of the feet, which I appreciate. I feel like that would feel kind of funny. But really love. I've been loving the polka dots lately. And then the other one is the Cuff Club Volume 1 pattern by Summer Lee. It's kind of like a bundle now. She did it for like a year long, and she released a pattern every month, I believe. But now you can just buy the bundle of 12, I believe. Definitely go check. But these three in particular stood out to me. And my mom owns the pattern bundle, so this would be a very easy one for me to knit. And I have a bundle of minis from a fiber festival that we were at last year, and it's these really pretty, like, naturally dyed sock yarns, so would love to work those into some socks. And yeah, these are the three that I'm leaning towards. I can't decide which one I want to start with. Maybe these ones with the flowers, very springy. Yeah, eventually I'd like to knit them all, but one thing at a time. As far as miscellaneous things, so the Betty scarf, this one isn't on Ravelry, but I'll have all the patterns I'm mentioning in the description below. It's like a basic, like, stockinette, triangular scarf or shawl, but it has like a lace ruffle along the bottom, which again I think is a bit of a theme with the edge on the other sweater and then this, but I think it's really fun. I have some colorful scarves and like some really big shawls that are great in the winter, but I think having a bit of a lighter one in the spring would be nice, and again a bit of more of like a solid color. I think having like a white one, it would just go with everything, and with it being a bit lighter, it would be more wearable through to summer as opposed to my like massive shawls that are basically blankets. Yeah, I think she's just really dainty and cute. And then the last pattern that I have had saved is the Lotta Pants by Les Filles du Coeur, I think. So the Lotta Pants, it's a sport weight pattern. I like the idea of having knitted pants, but it just seems really intimidating. But like I do want to knit a pair to have around the house, but I saw someone knit a version of these as shorts, and I think that's what I would start with doing. I have some cotton yarn that I think would suit this really well. Yeah, because doing something floor length, me and my mom were just talking about this because we were watching a Knitting Traditions, her like spring inspiration video, and she talked about a like floor length fully knitted sweater that she's knit for herself, and we were just talking about how that's just so much fabric. And I think the same thing can be said about floor length trousers. So shorts I feel like is a bit more approachable. Love the green and pink stripes. I think my other things were green and pink stripes. Yeah, so into the green and pink. But yeah, shorts are very approachable. And I've also been thinking about how like there's so many more sweaters and cardigans that I want to knit, don't get me wrong, but like how eventually, like how many sweaters does one person need, you know? And so I've been thinking about like different things that I would get a lot of use out of, but it's different than just like constantly knitting sweaters. Not that I'm gonna stop knitting sweaters, but I think doing some different like socks, shorts in this case, you know, scarves, like even like household things like tea towels and washcloths and things. I think I want to start doing more of that just to kind of diversify my knits, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's where my brain has been at in terms of spring knits. Would love to hear what you are thinking of knitting this spring, what you're finding inspiring. Yeah, thanks for watching. Another train's about to go by. So yeah, definitely leave a comment, let me know what you're finding inspiring as far as spring knits, and yeah, hope you have something creative that's bringing you a lot of joy. Bye, see you next time.